This is a DDAmanda video on TPII, Triad Pro, and I visited them just a few days ago. And in this video we're going to cover their golf cars and the gen sets and what the current status is. And it's very interesting. There's been a lot of new developments here. I think this is going to go, guys. Okay, last Wednesday I went to Phoenix and I visited Triad Pro, TPII. And I was directed to a suite further down. This one is still open, but they've opened a new one, okay? And I walked in there and they said that this new one was for manufacturing and the original one is going to be for research. So they've opened a brand new place to start building stuff. I wasn't able to take any pictures, so you're just going to have to go by, what I saw. They let me go in the back, and these pictures are from Las Vegas when they took delivery of these. They're not from the new facility. But anyway, I went in the back and I saw a bunch of these that are being built or getting ready for sale, I guess. And there was also a lot of e-cells and like on a rack, like probably 30-50 of them. And other manufacturing stuff was in there, like for the light towers and the gen sets. Okay, this is the first model of the TPII golf cart, and then they've got a new version, and that's the first one, and they've got a new version that they just came up with, and they ordered 23 of them. This is version 2. It's kind of sexy looking with a little cute nose and everything. Anyway, they've got these and they're working on these to get these ready for sale. This looks like some Chinese investors maybe, I don't know. And so that's the new model, and that's where I'm going to be ready to go shortly. I think they've already sold one in LA, so they're working on those. Okay, this is the news they released on March 16th, 2022, a little over a year ago. And what they did is they brought one of these gen sets up to Canada where it gets really cold. And they tested it with Syncrude Oil Company. Now, Syncrude is like the Exxon of Canada, okay? It's a huge company. Anyway, so they tested this thing for about 3 weeks and it was flawless. And here's the advantages of this. Now, this is a mining company, and they have light towers and also communication towers. And they have to run diesel generators like 24 hours to power these things up there because it's very remote. But what this thing does, the genset, is you run it for an hour, it charges the e-cells, and then you can run off the e-cells for 24 hours. This has like 90% fuel savings, okay? And because you have to run it less, you also save a large amount on maintenance costs, okay? And the third huge advantage is carbon credits. Now, I'm going to have a couple of interviews and play those that address both of these. But here's the current test. Minus 25 degrees. It started without a problem, continued to operate, been performing autonomously as designed. Like I said, they ran this thing for I think 3 weeks and didn't have any problems with it. You can go back and read this if you want. But there's huge advantages for these things for companies, especially out there where any place that's remote. Because, like I said, 90% fuel savings, maintenance cost savings. I mean, it's kind of nuts, Alright, so that's that. Now, here's the advantage of this e-cell. This thing can run at very cold temperatures. Lithium and other batteries, they can't, okay? It just doesn't work. So this is like the only solution that's available to, these large companies when it gets really cold, okay? Okay, let's talk about carbon credits. Now, these are things that a company can earn by reducing emissions, okay? And they're created by, I think it's 1 ton here. Yeah, 1 ton of CO2 that the organization is permitted to emit. Anyway, if you can reduce your carbon output, you get these credits, okay? Uh, and here's how they work. They're issued to companies, and sometimes what the TPI genset does, it gives them a surplus of carbon credits, which they can retain for future use, or they can sell them into the compliance market. So these things are worth money. So this is the third huge advantage that the gensets create, and what it is.
Increase from the business as usual. In other words, when you're doing these carbon market perceptions and looking at the numbers, you're going to look at the business as usual. So the typical generator will use X number of gallons or liters of fuel to provide its service. The business as usual. And there's a range, and it's only based upon real usage. We can project it, but that generator using our solution, it's going to be 2/3 as a reduction. That quantified number is the greenhouse gas benefit that Triad can deliver to its client. So 14064. So that is the confirmed process to qualify and quantify a greenhouse gas benefit. So with Triad Pro, we're very pleased to be working with them because they are one of the technologies that can demonstrate through the technology itself a decrease in fuel consumption, which is directly proportional to decreasing greenhouse gas emissions. So for Triad Pro, this benefit can be seen in a number of different ways. Number one is, as their own company is embarking on fundraising, for example, this is now perceived and can be seen as a green technology because it can quantify that greenhouse gas benefit. To their clients who use the technology, this becomes extremely important because those clients who are using the Triad Pro generator, the 60 kilowatt system, can decrease their carbon footprint by over 100 tons in one circumstance and over 150 tons in another on an annualized basis. So right now, Triad Pro is looking at market spaces where this can be enhanced, where the value of the technology is enhanced through the carbon markets.
So you guys primarily work out of Canada, is that correct?
We work globally. We've worked through the CDM. We've done projects in Southeast Asia, Africa, the European Union, Canada, and the United States. And we're always looking for those differential solutions. It doesn't have to be a massive deployment. These can be minor solutions that on volume, shall we say, can really have a positive influence on the environment. So from a Triad Pro opportunity of using the generators, this is not something where you're changing all the activities of the oil sands, but you're changing the way that oil sands operations are conducted. And that could be just the oil sands, it could be in mining in general terms, and of course it can be global because those companies that are operating globally are looking to decrease their carbon footprint globally. And that Triad Pro's technology meets within established methodologies for international carbon markets. These can be used anywhere. We've just started in Alberta because we can really identify, keep on top of the first deployments, and demonstrate the success of the solution.
Right. So you're talking a lot about Triad Pro Energy and the technology. What's the difference between, let's say, lithium-ion batteries, and what main advantages of what Triad is doing? Is there any difference, or are they using that similar technology? Because I know it's proprietary, correct?
That's correct, and I'm not in a position to speak to Triad Pro's proprietary technology, but what I can say is the overall use of the solution demonstrates a significant decrease in the amount of fuel used in the generator. And that's where we step in and say, on an annualized basis, if you're decreasing your fuel consumption by 2/3 or whatever that number might be, 2/3, we quantify that decrease from the business as usual. In other words, when you're doing these carbon market perceptions and looking at the numbers, you're going to look at the business as usual. So the typical generator will use X number of gallons or liters of fuel to provide its service. The business as usual. And there's a range, and there's some better and worse solutions, and older generators to younger generators. But then there's a game changer like Triad Pro. which quantifies that margin, as I say, that 2/3 number. So it's by calculating that 2/3 number, and it's only based upon real usage. We can project it, but that generator has to be used over the course of the year or month to month to month, whatever the case might be. We quantify that compared to what otherwise would happen in absence of the technology. In other words, the business as usual. If it's just the business as usual, they use X. If they're using our solution, it's going to be 2/3 as a reduction. Electric or hydrogen cars. So this is a market-changing initiative when it comes to hydrogen. TPII Pro, it's already ahead of that curve in the sense that it's not looking for a government handout to demonstrate its efficacy into the marketplace. It's demonstrating its efficacy because of its use in current industrial and in oil and gas production. So a lot of money floating around the environmental market, a lot of greenwashing, a lot of pretenders. The keys I identified that we have to focus on are methodologies that are accepted by governments through robust measures, i.e. ISO 14064. TPII Pro falls within the purview of the methodologies of ISO, which we all know kind of govern all kinds of things with regard to business. And as a result, they're not looking for the government to focus companies on these things in the sense of they don't need a subsidy. They're going to be in a position to sell their technology that allows the oil and gas industry, the mining industry, and others, including the construction industry, to decrease their carbon footprint and meet with regulatory approval, meet with carbon markets opportunity, or to use that carbon offset as a new financial instrument to enhance their own value in the market.
Now, as far as orders go, a year ago they got an order here for 50 of these. But, stuff always takes longer. And when I was there visiting them, just a few days ago, they said they had an order for 35 of these. And they've already gotten partial payment. Now, these retail, they sell for $65,000. So if you multiply 35 times 65, that's over $2 million, guys. And he also hinted at an 800 unit order that's in process. So I'm thinking since they opened the manufacturing facility, they are ready to deliver. They're ready to make these things, and this thing's going to take off.
Focused on right now on the applications that are in front of us and that are going to bear some fruit for the company almost immediately.
Understood. I know on the OTC markets, it states that your technology is proprietary, but the TPII Pro Energy cell, how is it different from a lithium-ion battery?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. Lithium-ion is a liquid battery. So when you have a liquid battery, you have a chemical reaction. There's chemistry involved on how that battery would perform. The TPII Pro Energy Cell is solid state, and because it's solid state, it gives us some characteristics and some benefits over lithium based on performance. And some of those there's really three main categories that we fall into from a performance standpoint where we outperform lithium. And the first one is safety. Anyone knows with lithium ion, if it gets overheated, we've all seen the videos with the Teslas and electric vehicles that they're very combustible. The terminology is thermal runaway. When a lithium ion battery will self-ignite, it's very difficult to put out. Because it's solid state, we don't have that chemical reaction. So we have a safety component that's extremely important for the oil and gas companies. And we did a couple in-house tests where we actually drove 14 nails through a fully charged energy cell. It was about 2.9 volts when we drove the 14 nails through the cell. And believe it or not, next day the cell was a 2.9 volt charge. The next day, when we put the voltmeter on the cell, it was still holding a charge of 2.2 volts 24 hours later after we drove the 14 nails through it. So safety is one of the big advantages. Longevity, the average battery has a life cycle attached to it. Lithium can be anywhere between maybe 5,000 to 8,000 life cycles. The TPII Pro Energy Cell has 30,000 life cycles, and for that purpose, we can back it with a 10-year guarantee or warranty. and we're confident enough to say that the Triad Pro Energy Cell will outperform lithium by 2 to 3 to 1 as far as shelf life goes. Those are the three main. And then the last main advantage and why we're up in northern Alberta, up in Fort McMurray in the oil sands, is cold climate performance. And this has been an eye-opening experience for a lot of the oil companies. But typically for a lithium-ion battery, there's a range in how it can charge and discharge. And to successfully charge a lithium-ion battery, it can only be charged at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If it gets colder than that, you're going to have issues charging that cell. And if you try to charge it colder than that, you're going to damage the cell. And when you discharge lithium, the max you can discharge it is at minus 20 degrees Celsius or minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And the big difference with the Triad Pro Energy Cell is we have the ability to charge and discharge this unit at minus 40 degrees Celsius or now in production ready format. We came out of a demo. We did a demo for Syncrude, which is a household name in Canada. They're a large oil company. And we replaced, up in Fort McMurray, if you understand the landscape, it's the third largest oil deposit in the world. They produce millions of barrels of oil a day, but it's so remote. Any of the for any power that's needed to produce the oil up there, it's so remote that they're using diesel generators to produce the oil and to communicate and to house their staff, that type of stuff. And so we did a demo for them on a communication trailer that was burning approximately 10 to 11 gallons of fuel a day. Communication trailers are scattered throughout this property. If you can imagine, these properties are hundreds by hundreds of square miles in size of oil that's being mined every day. And there's communication trailers and diesel generators scattered throughout the property that provides the power for all different types of applications that's required. The other benefits to the Triad, so how the unit works, it's an hour, it's a Kubota motor, you burn the diesel for an hour, you carry the load on the trailer because the trailer has a load that it needs to carry in regards to powering the communication part of it. As we're carrying the load, we're charging the E-cell. When the E-cell becomes fully charged, the generator will shut down and the E-cell will carry the load on that trailer. And in this particular case, we were we were running on a 1 to 24 ratio. So 1 hour generator, 24-hour E-cell, and we produced. So we essentially reduced the performance of the generator by 23 hours. So over and above the obvious of the fuel reduction and the CO2 reduction, which Ian talked about earlier, the other benefits to the generator, the savings to the end user. A typical generator needs a full-blown maintenance event they call every 500 hours, where they need to replace the filters, the oil, the fuel filters, that type of stuff. And we actually now reduce the maintenance events from 20 maintenance events a year down to 4. And then obviously the wear and tear on the generator itself, they're replacing the generators every 3 to 5 years. Because we're reducing it down to an hour or two a day, the generator will have about a 20-year shelf life compared to what they're getting now. So that demo was deemed as successful. It ended middle May, and we have another partner right now out in Alberta called Frontier Power Products, and we're now ready for market, and we anticipate receiving our first PO from Syncrude here probably within the next 10 days.
So you guys are hooking up with a lot of companies today, right now. About how many companies right now have agreed to partner with TPII?
So right now we're talking to Syncrude, Suncor, which are big oil companies up in the oil sands. And then the companies that we're talking with locally out of Alberta to help sell and disperse and build the product is Frontier Power Products. There's a few others. And then on the construction side and the equipment rental side, we're talking right now with, for equipment rental, Cooper Rentals, and a company called Herc Rentals, which is North American wide. And then on the for the construction side, we're talking with Leadcore. We're building 4 prototype light trailers right now that should be ready for market in about 30 to 45 days. Leadcore and Cooper Rentals and Syncrude have also agreed to take a prototype light trailer as a 60-day trial and demo, similar to what we just did with Syncrude on the genset. And to that group, There's a process to dealing with these big companies, and you got to respect the process. It's long, but once you get through a successful demo, you know the benefits are tenfold because the orders can be substantial.
I know the EV market, especially in the OTCs, when people hear EV, they like to invest or they jump on a stock. Is there anything right now as far as a collaboration in the EV marketplace that you guys are doing or potential?
Right now, our focus, not as of today, we've had some people approach us and we've shared some technology ideas with them. But right now, I'll say that today, our focus is going to be on the golf cart because it is market ready, and we anticipate opening a dealership in October, November. We've actually already sourced a building out in Rancho Mirage, California. And in the gen set in the light tower industry, we want to focus on that. It's obviously a lot smaller than the EV market, but the EV market is extremely competitive. There's companies throwing billions of dollars at it right now, and the gen set light tower business or industry. When you look back at it, we're going to be first to market with this type of product that can perform in these types of conditions. So we've carved ourselves out a real nice little niche in a market that still isn't, measured in the billions of dollars, and that's where the focus is going right now.
Okay, this is a 3-year chart. Now, back when they were first getting started, she ran on the hype and everything, and then, they started getting the contracts and all that, but, it's taken a long time. But I think these guys are really ready to go here now. You know how it always takes longer and then people get bored and they sell. Anyway, I think she's ready, guys. I think, the share structure is still pretty attractive. I mean, even if she gets to half of this, it's going to be a huge run, half of what she did before. And she could just go beyond this also, depending on what news they put out. Okay, here's the 1-year chart. So, in summary here, I know it's taken a long time, but look at this thing's at a total bottom. Okay, I think with the new developments, with that new manufacturing facility they just opened, I think these guys are going to go. All right. I mean, the technology is amazing. I mean, you got the fuel savings on the gen sets, you got the carbon credits, you got the golf car. I mean, everything's ready to go. Everything's being produced as we speak. So let's see what happens with news. But in the meantime, I think this is a strong buy. Okay. All right, that's it. Long video. Here's a little PS. They are pink current right now. And let's go over the share structure. Outstanding 371 million. Unrestricted 154. You can read that as the float. And they have zero convertible debt. So there you go. Everybody that tries DDAmanda absolutely loves her. These are all unsolicited, by the way. We didn't even ask people. I love you guys. Yeah, I love the program. So worth it. Probably made 500K. This guy's up 30K. Having everything I need to research on one page is definite time saver. Single day, 1525 profit. 15K on my first DD. Look at this guy. I don't know what to think about this one, man. This guy says he made 30 million. Read this shit. I don't know. He sounds kind of legit. I fucking love DDAmanda. Your program is the best tool I've ever used in the last 21 years. It just goes on and on. Okay, if you trade stocks, or if you're even thinking about trading stocks, this is for you guys. This is what you need. This is DDAmanda. It's the #1 stock screener and scanner that's out there. And it uses both user input and AI to find and research winning stocks. And it says right here, easy enough to use by total beginners. There's really no learning curve at all. You can be finding stocks within about 5 minutes after you log in. And it also has a lot of advanced features that are used by professional traders. Our mission is to help you make money by investing in stocks. That's the bottom line. That's what you want from something like this, you know. Now, I use this all the time, and I've found some amazing runners. You've got here, look at this. They give you 1 hour of free one-on-one training and instant support. Having good support on a program is just so critical, you know. I mean, here's their phone number right here. You can just call and text. They've got some testimonials here. I want to show you these because they're pretty amazing. I mean, look at this. This is what people think of her. I love you guys. Yeah, I love the program. This guy made 500K. This guy's up 30K. Everything I need to research. I wasn't even in Amanda one week, and he made 10,000 bucks. So these testimonials, it just goes on and on here. So anyway, they've got if you want to try, look at all these features. Dollars traded, 7MA crossovers, all sorts of stuff. But they've got an $8 a day trial subscription, so you can check her out and see if you like her. And then some other subscription levels here. Anyway, I highly recommend this, guys, and do check it out and make some money.